Welcome back, everybody. This is Wings of Wax, and we are playing Slay the Spire. Last time we almost I wouldn't say almost. We got really close though. I don't know. We got to the heart, and we had a pretty decent run, but there really wasn't like a straight like strategy or synergy that the deck was like focusing in on. There was no like strict blockade deck, or like a strict exhaust strategy, or like a strength strategy, to be able to boost up all your strength to be able to take out the heart. So I'm a little disappointed in that, but I feel like we did learn quite a bit and learn to not like view Clash as a really good card, or maybe we cut back on things like Immolate, because I do value that card pretty highly, but it really is only good to get you to the heart. It's not actually that great against the heart. And we should be focusing our decks, I feel like, eventually to be able to get to the heart. Alright, so what are our options here? We have choose a colorless card to obtain 100 gold, lose 8 max HP to obtain a random rare card. And I'm almost never going to take this last one, but I think this is actually worthwhile. Going to 72 HP so we can possibly choose a direction to go in. Didn't really give us a direction, but, it is useful. You can no longer become weakened, and weakened is quite a pain in the butt, to be honest. Let's see, I would like to hit as many elites as possible, so this is probably like the best path, which means we can then, doesn't really matter which direction we go down here then. There is 2 fires right there. We don't really need to get to a shop. Alright, which one has the most question marks? It looks like this path right here. So I think I'm going to lead down that path, and we're going to start there. Alrighty, I do have fast mode still put on right now, so that way it hopefully speeds up these videos just a little bit, because I realized that they were starting to get really long, but this guy's not attacking in the first turn, so we're going to go for the bash into the strike and try to deal as much damage as possible. We're going to go for the double strike, that's all we really have, but I would have defended anyways this turn just to try to soak up some of that damage. Hopefully we can just kill him right here, though. We did. Oh, nice. There we go. We have Thunderclap, Havoc, and Shrug It Off. We don't really have a strict strategy or reason to go for like an exhaust strategy for this, so I don't think it's worthwhile. Thunderclap is pretty decent, but I think Shrug It Off is just an overall good card for like any strategy, and just about any deck is going to be happy having a Shrug It Off. So let's start with that. Whale. I could decide to just go for the double defend here, take 2 damage, strike this guy. I think that's probably the best case scenario for us. That way we don't take too much damage, since we did lose 7 max HP early on. So let's just take 2 for this turn, get a little bit ahead with the amount of damage we can deal to potentially kill one of these. Yeah, let's go for the double strike here and Shrug It Off. Obviously, we could have gone for the Shrug It Off first, but we don't really have too many other options in our deck anyway, so there really wasn't a straight reason to go for that. He's not attacking this turn, so we're just going to go all out. Hopefully we draw 2 strikes next turn, that we can just take him out. Or we draw a Bash and Strike. That works too. That is perfectly acceptable here. What do we get? We have another Shrug It Off. It really wants us to take these Shrug It Off cards, Ghostly Armor is not terrible either, but I do think that Shrug It Off might just be slightly better, because drawing a card and us not having a strict strategy yet, like if we were more, we don't really like need anything, honestly. I honestly could just pass here. Perfected Strike is not terrible either to be able to go just deal some extra damage, but I have a feeling we're going to try to get rid of some of these strikes when we actually start hitting some shops and start getting rid of some cards. So this is actually going to become a weaker card for us. One thing I actually didn't realize, which makes sense though, Perfected Strikes are great in multiples because they actually get +2 additional strength for each other because they actually say strike in them. But I didn't realize that at first, and it took me a little while to figure that out. In case you're wondering, sometimes a little slow on the uptake. I do think we just take Shrug It Off here though. That is, it's always going to be a very helpful card. And then the first card we'll probably remove is like a defend from our deck. Unless, of course, we end up getting something that leads us down a direction to want to take a defend. Was this actually a shop? No, this was a question mark. Okay. It's like, I thought we avoided this shop. Wait a minute. We do have Metallicize, which is a really good card. Obviously, Pommel Strike is good too. A 23-cent Pommel Strike. I do really want to remove a card. I wish we had enough mana to be able to go for this Tungsten Rod, because this is actually really good. Whenever you would lose HP, you lose one less. So like against like the Heart, when it does like the 6x12 or the 4x12 or the 3, whatever that times 12 attack is, it reduces 1 damage from all of those, which is really helpful. Or any monster, any creature like the birds that deal 1x5 damage, you know, makes them deal 0. So that's pretty fantastic. Man Ray, what do we go for? This is tough. Like obviously we could either go for like both Metallicize and Pommel Strike, which is not an awful choice, or we can go for Removal Service plus Pommel Strike. I wish we could go for Card Removal Service plus Metallicize, but we don't have enough money to be able to do that right here. So this is actually kind of tough. I think we do get rid of a Defend, though. Metallicize is always good, though. That's part of the issue. But it is just like adding another card without removing a card, and I do want to keep our deck a little thin. And drawing cards is going to make it so that way we can eventually plow through our deck quicker, so that way we can find our better cards more often. So that's why I don't mind taking the like Shrug It Off or the Pommel Strikes. So clearly we go for the Shrug It Off here. We can't kill either of these, so we might as well just remove their buff. So far, so good. This is going to deal 9 damage. So that's going to take out this one, and we can just bash this guy. So, I mean, we could have done it either way. We did get Entrench, but if we take Entrench, I have a hard time taking Entrench just because I don't think it's that great unless you find a barricade. It is good, but like I feel like you need to have barricade in order to start taking Entrenches, because if you start going down that direction of just like of choosing a direction, if you don't end up getting the entrench barricade deck, if you don't end up getting barricade, it is really hard to win with it. Like you still can, but it's still really tough. Juggernaut is not terrible either, and technically it starts to lead us down the more blocking route, which right now we actually have quite a bit of blocks in our deck. The only issue I have with this is it costs 2 mana and doesn't do anything when you cast it. So that's my only like gripe with this card. And Bloodletting is decent too, but like we have no reason to lose HP. I'm actually just thinking maybe we just pass up on this. I'm not sure. We do have 2 Shrug It Offs. But honestly, if we're going to stick for a barricade strategy, like Entrench is just better than Juggernaut. And I don't think we're going to be trying to go for either of those routes at the moment, because I want to get the barricade first before I decide to go for either of these. Because we're not guaranteed to get the barricade, and that's more important than the Juggernaut or the Entrench here. Entrench is really good though, and I also like that it reduces its mana cost by 1. So like it can be very useful. And actually it's really only playable once it actually becomes 1 mana. But before that, unless you have a barricade, that's really the only time you can fully take advantage of the 2 mana Entrench. But obviously 1 mana is always better. But I don't think we take the Bloodletting. I think we just skip here. As sad as that really is. Upgrade 2 random cards and lose 14 health. I'm okay with that. Sure. That was actually pretty good. Let's see. Do we want to start taking pieces? I do want to upgrade our Bash though, because just having that, I feel like that's the most benefited card to be upgraded right now. So we have 3 turns of vulnerability, and that way we can take out bosses a lot quicker too, or just random enemies like this. So we will take a little bit of damage here, which I'm okay with. Let's go for the Shrug It Off. We're going to take 2. So as long as we don't take any more damage, we should be able to get ahead of this, which I am happy with. This is going to deal the same amount of damage. Do I actually want to draw this card to Shrug It Off? I do want to save the Shrug It Off for next turn, so that way we can start to apply some more damage. I'm taking it slow, but that's because I'm trying to regain some of that health that we just lost from upgrading those 2 cards. He's not doing anything this turn, obviously, so why would Shrug It Off be good, huh? Right. Do we want to draw anything here? I mean, there's nothing that costs 0 mana. It's just like, do we want to thin out our deck to potentially draw, like... Yeah, I think it's worthwhile. Because we could have drawn, like, a Defend there, which... It's kind of irrelevant, but... Oh, right, he actually entangled us, so we can't actually do anything. So we got really lucky that we didn't draw a defend. So that was actually really stupid. Don't do that, by the way. Don't do that. That was actually a mistake. Don't do that. Don't do that. Learn from from my mistakes. Disarm's really good. Obviously, we already have a Pommel Strike, but a second Pommel Strike is always welcome. Metallicize, though, I feel like is just a better option here. And fits into just about any strategy, because for 1 mana, every single turn you get 3 block. And it doesn't seem like much, like, right away, but it's just the longer the game goes on, the more value you get out of Metallicize, and I like cards like that. But Disarm is kind of like the same thing, where the longer the game goes on, the more value you're going to get out of it, because it's reducing 2 strength that's going to be dealt to you. But I think Metallicize is slightly better here. I could be wrong. Do we want to upgrade any cards? Let's take a peek at the very least. So Metallicize and Pommel Strike are the clear cards that I'm looking at. It's either that or we take a recall here and take our Ruby Key, which, do we have another option at some point? We are going to be fighting this elite and then this elite. We just have one more before we get here. So we actually have a couple of elites to be able to fight through. We're going to be getting a key from this guy. So I think we just smith the Metallicize here. That's going to be even more value over time, so I'm pretty happy with that. And let's fight this elite here, because we're going to be able to... We do get a key piece. I forgot that the chest gives you an option, but I actually think that taking Red Skull is really worthwhile, because it is a very powerful card. Alright, so Bash is not really worthwhile to go for, just because, like, they already have the artifact negative debuff. It negates a debuff here. So, which means that the vulnerability wouldn't really do anything, and we're basically spending 2 mana to deal 10 damage or something. So, I don't think it's really worthwhile, but I will go for the Pommel Strike here, see if we draw... I was hoping to draw, like, a... Shrug it off. There we go. And we'll deal another 9. I'm attacking this one here. And the reason being is because we can potentially kill this guy next turn, which will save us 9 damage. And then after that, we can start focusing in on one of these two, because we want them to be slightly... like, the one we kill, the remaining 2 need to be opposite from each other, so that way we can start to reduce some of the damage that's being dealt to us, and potentially... This turn did not work out, unfortunately, because I was hoping to draw... Even 3 strikes, actually, wouldn't have killed that. So yeah, let's go for the Shrug It Off. I was hoping to really kill this guy, is what I was eventually trying to get to, but I think we take some damage, and just to make it so that way we can potentially kill this, but we do have one more turn where I can do that. Yeah, let's just prevent the damage, unfortunately. We're going to take 1. So we did draw Shrug It Off, which is really good, so that will be very helpful. We did draw 2 ways to attack, and I would like to deal some damage to this. Dealing 9, though, will make him go to 12, which means double strikes would actually kill it, so I think that's worthwhile. And then the remainder is probably going to go on this one. Let's think about this. We're going to kill him if we draw another strike next turn. We're going to be putting up probably block, I would imagine, against this one. So I actually think we attack this one instead, because we're not going to be able to deal extra damage next turn to this one. So we're just going to have to ignore this one's damage for now when he starts to attack, and we'll just focus in on this one. I don't know if that made sense, but in my head it did. But, you know, that's obviously... My head's a little kooky at times. So we'll kill this one. We're only going to take 1 here. Worked out for us. We did draw Bash. Still not... I don't think it's worth it. Let's go for the Pommel. See what we find. We draw another Defend. We don't have any Shrug It Offs, obviously, in our deck, because we already played both of them. So, how do we want to do this? The longer the game goes on, the harder this becomes with the dazes, but I don't think I want to take too much damage, to be completely honest with you. So I'm honestly just thinking we just go for the double Defend here. We can afford to take it a little slow. Which, feel free to skip through this combat if you want to, because it's pretty lengthy. We obviously are going to go for the double Defend and be able to deal some more damage. We could potentially kill this guy next turn if we draw a Pommel Strike and 2 strikes, I believe. We drew a Shrug It Off. That's unfortunate. We cannot kill this guy this turn, which is fine. You know, worse things have happened. I'm just trying to make sure we don't take too much. We don't take any more damage for the remainder of this now that one of them is dead. We unfortunately are going to be taking some damage here, but thank you, Dazes. Really greatly appreciate that. Obviously, I dealt the lethal damage, the smallest amount of lethal damage that I potentially could with one card, and then I dealt the most amount of damage that I had extra to the other one. So we will go for the pommel, see if we draw another strike. We did not. It doesn't really... What do we have still in our deck here? We could draw another Daze, which would be very beneficial to us. So it's like a 50-50 here to draw either a Defend or a Daze. Because Shrug It Off kind of also counts as that. And we want to be aggressive next turn, so... so I'm actually going to Shrug It Off here. We drew another Daze, so it actually worked out for us. So that way we're more likely to draw our aggressive cards. It was a 50-50 shot there to be able to set it up so we could actually find 3 attacks here instead of drawing a bunch of those ethereal cards that are just a nightmare. So we got War Paint, which obviously upgraded 2 skills you saw. We have Disarm and True Grit. Disarm is probably slightly better than True Grit because True Grit's not upgraded here, and I would actually have to upgrade it to make it, like, I feel like a really solid playable card. We also don't have any, like, things to take advantage with the True Grit because we just have, like, Shrug It Offs and Pommel Strikes to really take advantage of with bashes. And we have 1 upgraded strike. Like, there's nothing that we want to continuously draw to reduce our deck size right now. So I think actually Disarm is just, like, the best card here. We will go this way, and we are going to be fighting 1 more elite. I think we can risk it here. And we're going to be getting a key from that that elite. So I think we do go for the Smith here. And we either go for the Disarm, which is always going to be good, and we can always go for the Pommel Strike, which is always going to be good too. I do think we go for the Disarm, though. I think it is slightly better. Being able to sap your opponent of 3 strength for an entire combat is really beneficial. So let's see. We have Metallicize, we have Shrug It Off, and we can deal damage to one of these guys. Or we could just defend here. We're going to go up to 12, which means we're going to take 1 damage from this, which means I think we attack. I just don't know which one we attack right now. This guy's going to be getting buffed, so potentially him. That is my guess here. It's either that or do the back one because he has the most amount of block that he's gaining. But I think killing this one is more beneficial to me right now, or at least trying to set it up so we can kill it next turn, because he's going to be upgrading his strength here to deal more damage than the other guys. Let's see. Well, seems pretty easy. Just a matter of which one of these we want to kill, and I think doing this one, so that way he has 5 health. So it only takes 1 strike to kill him. We are immune because of our ginger. Delicious ginger. We'll go for the pommel here. We will Shrug It Off this turn, and we'll just kill this guy, so that way we take no damage. I guess I didn't have to Shrug It Off. I could have just went for a regular defend there, but it really didn't matter. At least not at this point in the game. Oh my god. Well, now I'm feeling a little silly about not taking that Entrench. Oh my goodness. Gosh, gee willigers. Are we doing this? Oh yeah, we're 100% doing this. We're gonna go ham. We're gonna go ham. Shields up, mofo. All right. Let's go for the Disarm here, and I think we just pass here because we kind of want to be able to cast the Barricade before he wakes up. Hey, we in there. Oh boy, this is gonna go so well now. Oh yeah. All right, let's go. Let's see if I can just get some block up first before I decide to go ham on this guy. He's probably gonna wake up this turn, which is not that big of a deal to me. Which means he also doesn't have the armor, so this actually worked out perfectly for me. So let's go for the strike. I will go for the Shrug It Off to be able to prevent some damage in the future. We also don't have vulnerable on him, so it actually benefits us to be able to get some more block up right now. But we do still want to put him on a clock because he does every 3 turns put a debuff on us that reduces our dexterity and strength. So we can afford to just go all out for the strikes here. Do I want to go for the pommel? Do I actually want to draw anything here? Not really. Let's just go for the strike. I don't want to draw cards with pommel strike. I can't take advantage of it, so there's not really a point in doing it. And this is the turn that I was talking about. We do get to deal some damage, though, and be able to shrug it off to be able to get more armor up. But I think we're gonna come through with this combat without actually taking any damage. I do think because last turn that he is vulnerable, we should go ham. Just all out strike him. So now everybody gets to see the power of a blockade deck. You basically just prevent your opponent from really doing anything. I'm just making sure that he's not able to deal his damage while we can deal small increments of damage to him. That's basically what this comes down to. He's not doing anything this turn except for going to be debuffing us again. But I want to make sure that he is dead on the following turns. That's why I was trying to deal as much damage as possible there. And there we go. Champion belt. Whenever you apply vulnerable, apply 1 week. That's pretty cool. I've never actually had that before. We did get armaments too. Do we have a campfire coming up anytime soon? We do. And we have 69 HP. Oh my goodness. That's the sexy number if you didn't know. The woman in blue. From the darkness, an arm pulls you into a small shop. As your eyes adjust, you see a pale woman in sharp clothes gesturing towards a wall of potions. Buy a potion now, she states. We would like to buy 2 potions here. I think that is worthwhile. We get Cullis, and we get Blessing of the Forge. I would like to fill up all of my potion slots. And since we are 3 HP away from max, let's go upgrade. Do we want armaments first? Or do we want barricade first? So the thing is that if we upgrade armaments and we have barricade in our hand, we can still cast the barricade in the turn, which means we're going to have 5 block to be able to carry along with the barricade. However, if we don't have barricade and armaments in the same hand together, then having the barricade be at 2 mana is actually more beneficial. I think right here I'm going to go for the armaments upgrade first, and then if we get an early campfire, I will go for the barricade. So since we're not like solely relying on the barricade right away, we can afford to potentially not get it down. And I feel like our deck is powerful enough where like the first enemy, which is the slime boss, is really not going to be that big of a deal. We actually want to be more aggressive technically against this boss anyways. So I'm actually thinking that we don't go for the barricade here because we want to just try to deal him as much damage as possible. I realize that sounds weird, but... And, you could honestly just be wrong, too. You never know. There's no reason for us to go for that. Let's go for the pommel strike. See if we can draw another strike here. We did. Because I'm trying to set it up so that this is going to deal 9 damage. Because he takes 2 turns to prep to be able to then start attacking us, which is when we need to split him. So, like, right here would be the time where we need to split him. But unfortunately, we did not get the... get anything to help us out here. Let's go for the finesse, see if we can actually draw another strike here. I drew a slimed. Of course we did. Of course we did. We're going to get punished hard for not going for that barricade strategy in the beginning, but I do still think it was the correct play because all we needed was 1 more strike here. We actually could have taken him to further beyond to split. All right, so we just got to prevent some damage this turn. Do we go for the metallicize? I don't think we actually do go for the metallicize here. Because basically he's not going to be attacking us. No, we should still go for it here. Yeah, no, I think we still should. I'm like contradicting myself so hard, but these are just, kind of difficult turns. So I think we can afford to take like 15, 21 damage. Okay, that's perfectly fine. That is not that big of a deal. And we can try to deal as much damage as possible. Do we want to go for the armaments first, or do we go for the pommel strike to try to find 1 more strike to deal in some extra damage? We do actually get an extra damage out of pommel strike if we upgrade it, and we get an extra 3 damage out of strike. So I think it actually is worthwhile to go for this. We drew another strike. What can you do? So 11 damage is what's incoming here. We can't get you to split. So, do we go for the barricade here and just take 7 damage, and then we can start actually going for some blocking? The problem is they're going to apply weakened stuff to us, but we can't be weakened, actually, now that I think about it. It's not worth it to go for the disarm because these aren't going to be around long enough for us to be able to do anything about them. To take full advantage, I should say, of the disarm. Whereas, like, we could go for, like, Bash Strike here and deal 19 damage to one of them and set it up so that we potentially could actually kill him on the following, or split him on the following turn. I think we just go for the barricade here because it's going to make it more beneficial for us in the long run, longevity of this. We're only taking 7 damage to set up a barricade. Like, I should be happy about this. Let's go for the Shrug It Off, see what we get first. We get Armament. Armament doesn't actually do anything for us right here. We're going to be taking some damage. Maybe going for the barricade was not the right play here. I was hoping that one of them was going to be attacking and one of them was not going to be attacking this turn. That didn't work out the way that I was hoping. That's super duper unfortunate. I don't know how their attack cycles work, though. Is this guy going to attack 11 next turn? He's dealing a lot of damage right here. I'm almost tempted to just go for this. Oh man, this would have actually been a decent turn to pop this speed potion to be able to get some more armor to be able to block all this. You know what? It's not that big of a deal. Actually, we're gonna be if I do go for, they're applying frail to us. That's the problem. Every time they attack. So we're at 18 technically for for armor here, 18, which would make this 24, and they are attacking us for 27. Now we should put some damage on them then. If we were preventing all of their damage, then I definitely would consider it, or even like really, really close to it, but we need to start being aggressive. Let's go for the pommel, and I will attack just one of these because I do need to really try to get one of these taken out as quickly as possible, because that is part of the reason why we're dying. Yeah, we will split you. So unfortunately, I think that barricade play is actually like costing us quite hard here because we can't carry anything over. So we could take out one of these guys, or set it up for the following turn to be able to take them out, because we we could take one out. We have +3 strength. Right, because of our red skull. Right. Yeah, let's take out one of these. Okay. So we're going to take 7 here again. If we get a good turn where we draw a bunch of like defense in our hand, I will definitely pop the speed potion, but right now we do not have that capability. We did draw Shrug It Off though. I don't think it's worth it because I would like to have a couple of different defense in our hand if we're going to be doing that. We have a bunch of slimes. Oh my god, half of our deck is slimes right now. So yeah, if we can get 2 like block style cards in our hand, I think I will go for that. But the likelihood of me drawing this right now to draw a block card, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 20 cards. Yeah, that's not looking good. I should Shrug It Off, but I think we'll Pommel Strike this guy first. See what we get. We get nothing really great. Oh, Jesus Christ. Cat just scared the crap out of me and brushed up against my leg. Hello, Muta. How you doing, buddy? Let's see. Do we still go for the Shrug It Off here? I think we do. And we could potentially set up to be able to kill this next turn. I don't think it's worth us taking the extra damage, so we drew the slime. Yeah, this kills us. Perfect. This is fine. This is fine. We're taking 3. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Okay, now we can start to focus in on 1. So I am a little more happy about this. We're taking 0 here. Fantastic. We did draw the defense that I was talking about, so I think maybe we actually drink this here, since I don't think we're ever going to have another opportunity to do that, and I think we should just disarm him. Is that way we can just carry over more block the longer this goes? I think that's worthwhile to us. Obviously, going for the armaments here doesn't really mean anything to us. We got a bash, so I will actually go for the bash here. And it makes it so next turn, he's not splitting here, which is fantastic. So if we can get a couple of attacks for this turn, we can actually deal quite a large chunk and make it so his smaller chunks are even weaker when they pop out. And we're going to tempt fate here and see if we draw another strike. We did. Nice. Not that it really matters. We weren't going to take any more HP. That went really well. I am actually pretty impressed. Obviously, it was a little scary for a little bit there, but... Hey, we have Berserk. And I've been talking about Berserk being decent, I feel like, for a blockade strategy. So... and I've been, I think, over hyping Immolate. And Bludgeon is good. And probably would... typically be the pick here, but since I'm trying to build more of a defensive strategy, I feel like Berserk is just going to be more beneficial to us because the vulnerability is not that bad when you are solely focusing in on blocks. So let's see, we can either go with the replacement, which replaces it from healing 6 to heal 12 at the end of our turn, Slaver's Collar to be able to give us an extra energy at the start for all of the combats of bosses and elites. Or we can no longer see the enemy's intent, and we gain an extra energy, which I'm like never going to take this because I don't know the enemy's intents enough nowadays, or right now. Maybe as time goes on, I'll be able to consider it, but becomes close to these. I'm tempted to just go for the Black Blood, but I do see where this is actually more beneficial to us right now. Just because, like, to be able to get an extra energy to power out maybe a barricade in a turn, to be able to play, you know, an extra Shrug It Off. We do have the Berserk to be able to back this up too, and this is going to be like the first card that we upgrade, and then we'll probably upgrade the Berserk right after. And we also have a lot of like card draw between the Shrug It Off, the Pommel Strikes, a Pommel Strike, and 2 Shrug It Offs. So we have some decent card draw to be able to find some extra cards to take advantage of the extra energy anyway, so I think we just take that, since I don't think we're going to need... Obviously, it would be nice to take, you know, heal 12 there, but... Alrighty. Well, that was a pretty good start. We have a decent blockade starting deck right now. We need entrenches, that is for sure. We need more shield bashes. So we're going to be looking to build this archetype, which I feel like is a little cheesy, but... I haven't built it on this channel yet, so I feel like this would be a great opportunity to showcase like how powerful these decks can really be, as long as you get some decent choices and be able to build towards it, which right now we're looking pretty good. I do need to be able to look for an upgrade on the barricade, an upgrade on the what's it called? Blood Rage? No, it's called Berserk. There we go. So those are my 2 key things that I'm going to be looking for, and then we're just going to be taking like as many like really good block cards that we possibly can, and anything that synergizes with the deck. So I'm actually glad that we found to focus this early on in this game, because it means that the rest of this should be a little easier to decide whether or not we choose a card or we don't choose any cards. So that's going to do it, though. Hopefully you enjoyed. This is going to be, I think, a really good session for Slay the Spire. I'm excited because once we actually defeat the Heart with Ironclad, we can move on to the Silent. And then when we get a Silent kill, and move on to the Defect. And then when we get a kill with the Defect, I'm going to move on to the Watcher, and so on, so forth, and so forth. So forth. I'm talking too fast. I'm just excited because I haven't gotten a block strategy in a long time. So I'm very excited to be able to do this. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. It really does help out the channel greatly. Like I said, if we get to 2,000 subs, then I will post 2 videos the day. Record 2 videos that day and be able to post 2 videos in one day if we can get to 2,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves and maybe even learned a couple of things here and there. Possibly, I would say the takeaway would be like, don't try to shoehorn yourself into a certain strategy and wait for the game to start to open you up to it, and just take cards that are just always good. And that way, when you actually get to a position where you're like, okay, well, I have enough good cards, now I can start to like look for something. And when you do find something, you can just kind of go in that direction. Because if we found either the blockade deck or we found the exhaust deck, we definitely could have been able to go either direction, or even like we still could have even gone the strength route too, but we just didn't find anything that like really solidified us to go in any of those directions. Barricade does that for sure for us, so I'm very happy. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to have a great day, great weekend, great night, wherever you are. Make sure to fill your life with some more positivity. Good luck, and grind on, everyone.